Sup, you beautiful bastards. Hope you're having a fantastic 4th of July. My name is Philip DeFranco, and let's just jump into it. And the first thing I want to talk about today is one of the biggest free speech versus hate speech stories we've seen in a while. In the past week, the German parliament passed a huge bill. This new law makes it so that Facebook, YouTube, pretty much any social media platform could face up to €50 million fine if they fail to remove hate speech or other criminal content within 24 hours. And the timeframes and classifications here are interesting. It states that obvious hate speech and obvious illegal content must be removed within 24 hours, specifically 24 hours after receiving a notification or complaint, and not so obvious content must be removed from the internet within 7 days. Also, in addition to the up to €50 million fine these companies will face, the companies have to name one person that is responsible for handling complaints, and in cases where the companies fail to comply with the regulations, that person can be fined up to €5 million. Now, as far as why this is being pushed through, you have German Justice Minister Heiko Maas, who oversaw this legislation, telling German parliament that online hate crimes have increased by almost 300% in the past few years. This also comes after several high-profile incidents of fake news and terrorist content spread on Facebook and YouTube in Germany, and there's an election coming up. Now, in response to this, Facebook said in a statement, "This law, as it stands now, will not improve efforts to tackle this important societal problem. We feel that the lack of scrutiny and consultation do not do justice to the importance of the subject," adding, "We will continue to do everything we can to ensure safety for the people on our platform." Facebook also noting that they're hiring 3,000 additional staff to go on top of their other 4,500 staff that are currently reviewing posts. And a big note that Stefan Dedman, Facebook's global deputy chief privacy officer, hit on is that these are hard problems. They're hard problems because they often involve dilemmas. Take, for example, the issue around illegal content. We want everyone to be safe. We also want an open and free internet with a variety of content. We also don't want companies to become the censors of the internet, or governments for that matter. Obviously, you don't want to have hate speech, threats, fake news out there, but at what cost? Example, there are laws in Germany that if you do the Nazi salute or you show Nazi imagery, that is against the law. So it could technically be argued that when you have that video from PewDiePie where he shows Hitler, where he shows Nazi imagery, and obviously the context isn't "yay, we love Nazis," or even in that sketch video I posted yesterday and today in Awesome called Nazi Bar, a video that bashes Nazi, those could technically be seen as hate speech. Those videos might be seen here as illegal content, and YouTube, under the fear of having a €50 million penalty, would have to remove the video, which also brings up the question, would they just have to ban it in Germany, or would they have to completely take it down? Understand, my mindset is fuck a Nazi, fuck Nazis. And at the same time, you're asking for 24-hour turnaround time on a situation where context matters. And if context doesn't matter to German parliament, it should. And something I want to kind of leave this story on is I understand that Germany has some baggage. I mean, let's look past the situations that I offered up of those two videos, where comedy and context comes into play. Freedom of speech is most important for people in situations that it's not clean. It is my belief that freedom of speech is most important for those who think differently. Not that they think right, but that they think differently. If someone believes that 9/11 was an inside job, Barack Obama is a lizard person, even Holocaust deniers, I personally believe that person's right to speak should be protected, not because I believe them or I support them, but because we lose the ability to learn why that person thinks that. There is a reason why you can still buy Mein Kampf by Adolf Hitler in fucking Barnes & Noble. And one of the best examples of why freedom of speech is important, it comes from the United States. There's a group called the Westboro Baptist Church. They're the ones you see with the signs that say, "God hates fags." Despicable, disgusting people, but it is important that they have the freedom to express their thoughts so we can see how flawed they are, to see where it comes from and be reminded that people like this exist in the world, and that's why we have to try so hard. So we understand the kind of people and the kind of mentality we are fighting against. I understand for Germany, what happened in the past, it is an ugly scar. A scar that I think rightly so they teach young people as they grow up. But when you ban, you penalize other things. It's a scary precedent, and then you move the goalposts to then involve the social networks that there is no reasonable way for these guys to be able to look through this much content. Especially within 24 hours, that time frame incentivize companies to censor rather than take the time to look at the context. Is this a criticism or is this hate? And guess what? If you're wrong in that incredibly short time frame and you keep the content up, €50 million fine maybe. And so that's why to me this seems like a desire to censor under the veil of this is anti-hate speech, this is anti-fake news. And so I want to pass the question off to you. Do you think that Germany is in the right here, that this does need to be stopped no matter what? Or you have the mindset that free speech does need to be protected? You know, just things that you would say that do not include a threat. I'd love to know your thoughts here. And then let's talk about about Charlie Gard. Charlie is a 10-month-old baby in the UK. He is also one of 16 currently known cases of mitochondrial DNA depletion syndrome. It causes your cell's mitochondria to not function properly and you deteriorate and die. Charlie cannot see, hear, move, nor breathe on his own. He also reportedly has severe brain damage. And the reason Charlie is in the news is there is a huge controversy around him. In January, months after Charlie's birth and diagnosis, his parents were told of an experimental treatment that Charlie could get, but it was in the United States. It's a treatment called nucleoside therapy. And after learning about this, the parents started a GoFundMe page and they raised over 1.3 million pounds. This so they could privately pay for an air ambulance and the treatment. So the parents got the funding, they wanted to schedule everything out, but there was a problem. Reportedly, the hospital disagreed with the best options for Charlie's treatment. Reportedly, doctors at Great Ormond Street wanted to take Charlie off life support. They believed his prognosis to be too far gone, saying that continued life support would lead to a great deal of suffering for Charlie. Doctors there are saying they want to let Charlie die with dignity. So what happens? Well, in the UK, when the hospital and the parents disagree on what to do, it goes to court. And it did, with the hospital's legal team arguing that fundamentally the parents don't accept the facts, they don't accept the nucleoside therapy will be futile. Charlie's condition afford him no benefit from the treatment. And in their defense, even the US doctor who would be the one to do the therapy, he stated, "I can understand the opinions that he is so severely affected that any attempt at therapy would be futile. I agree that it is very unlikely that he will improve with that therapy. It is unlikely." And the courts ended up deciding in favor of the hospital, deciding that the probable prolonged suffering for Charlie trumps what the parents want. The case then progressed through various appeals courts, and it ultimately led the case to the European Court of Human Rights. And there they ruled that the hospital can discontinue life support for Charlie. After this, Charlie's parents then offered to pay for Charlie to come home, to be taken care of there, to die there. The hospital refused this as well, saying that Charlie must die in the hospital. And reportedly, they refused any offer of hospice care to be paid for privately. And stemming from this story, there was also an interesting outreach of support. The Pope's press office releasing a statement saying, "The Holy Father is following with affection and emotion the situation of little Charlie Gard and expresses his closeness to his parents. He is praying for them in the hope that their desire to accompany and care for their own child until the end will be respected." Also reaching out, we saw the President of the United States, Donald Trump, tweeting, "If we can help little Charlie Gard as per our friends in the UK and the Pope, we would be delighted to do so." And both the Vatican Hospital and US hospitals have offered to take him in. And personally, I don't know how to feel about a hospital making a decision that not only can your child not get treatment somewhere else, but that even though the parents have the money and have the ability to get people to care for their child in their home, they're being denied. This doesn't seem right. If you had the ability, even if there was a 0.001% chance to help or save your son, wouldn't you try? And even if it was then found to be a 0.0% chance to deny a family the ability to take home their son, to have him die at home, what fucking right does a government have in deciding that? These parents are living in a situation we think are reserved for other people. The painful things that you know happen to people but never would happen to you. And here we have them being denied hope, and we have them being denied a farewell. And for a government and a judge to strip them of those rights just breaks my heart, and it's soul crushing. But of course, that said, no matter how passionate I am about a story, no matter what my opinion, it ultimately comes down to you. This is a show, but it is a conversation. So what are your thoughts here? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Let me know your takeaway, where you're at, whether it be this story, the first one, anything I ever talk about. Let me know in those comments. That's where I'm gonna end today's show. That last story it hit me. I kind of want to just go home and hug my son and swim and just embrace and enjoy what I have and what is so easy for all of us to take for granted. With that said, let's kick to the outro where I had a lot more happy energy. And remember, if you liked this video, you like what I do on this channel, hit that like button. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button. Also, if you missed yesterday's Philip DeFranco show, you can click or tap right there to watch that. If you want to see the newest behind the scenes vlog, click or tap right there to watch that. But that said, of course, as always, my name's Philip DeFranco. You've just been filled in. I love yo faces, and I'll see you tomorrow.